Right. Peace. Peace, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Wind Dragon page. This is going to be a quick video about the history. You hold this for me, Rick? Just like that. About the history of MMA, wrestling and boxing versus Chinese martial arts. I'm going to try to make this brief, but I hope to clarify the hate that still exist within the both styles or ways of thinking. So my name is Wind Dragon, and if you've never been to my page, this is your first time. I am a martial artist. I have trained in Chinese boxing since I was a kid, since I was a child. More so briefly, but when I turned 15 years old, I got heavily into Chinese boxing, and at the same time I was a professional breakdancer that was very well known for battling, and also I grew up in bad neighborhoods where I had to fight a lot because I was always getting jumped as a kid, and my type of neighborhood, most of my friends are locked up or in jail, and I'm one of the few survivors per se that survived, and Chinese boxing was one of the was the skill that basically protected me from street fights, from getting jumped, and gave me the bravery and the courage to defend myself in a real life-threatening situation. Now I'm going to leave it at that as far as me, but I just wanted to give you a brief introduction. Anyways, I want to talk about the real reason on why a lot of MMA fighters or boxers or wrestlers hate Chinese martial arts. When you ask the question why you do not like Chinese martial arts, they will immediately say something like, that stuff doesn't work, and they will always refer back to the UFC when you had really crappy representatives of the Chinese martial arts, especially Kung Fu, that literally looked like they were learning from the movie Bloodsport, because they apparently had no real skill at all. And all respect to the Gracies, because I love jiu-jitsu, especially Aiki jiu-jitsu and the original jiu-jitsu, as well as the more modernized sport type of jiu-jitsu made for MMA. Anyways, so let me get straight to the point. And a lot of that MMA stuff is very effective on the street too. You know, the boxing, the Thai kicks, the elbows, the knees, the submissions, that can be very effective on the street. So I am not a hater of MMA. I'm actually a fan, and I'm actually someone that does MMA myself, and I competed in MMA at an amateur level back home. So, you know, getting to the point on why, the real reason. I actually believe that it's deeper than mixed martial arts, and I believe it's even deeper than the UFC. And all respect to the UFC, I think they're great fighters and they're awesome at what they do. They're the best at what they do, and I'm a huge fan of it. I don't know about the steroids and all that stuff. I'm not down with that. But that's also very controversial, and I don't want to just listen to what the media is saying about that, because I really actually don't know. So my opinion on that is kind of neutral, you know. So getting to the point, I'm jumping around a lot. There's a history in China called the Boxer Rebellion, and you can research this on Google. I'm pretty sure you can find it in books, but it is an actual history in which there were these very proud Chinese boxers, or I would call Chinese martial artists, that train in very deadly systems of fighting, very deadly techniques to literally kill people. and they were called the Chinese boxers. Now, what actually happened was Europeans were entering into China, and they were influencing China and bringing like things like the religion of Christianity, the actual religion, and just Western influences. And these Chinese boxers really did not like that, because I'm pretty sure they felt that their culture and their country was fine just the way that it was, considering the fact that it has been standing for thousands of years. Now, what these Chinese boxers did was they actually murdered 30,000 Westerners and Chinese people, along with Christians, and just brutally murdered them. So it was so bad that European armies, American armies, and I believe even in India and maybe other nations that I may not be aware of, had to intervene and basically defeat these Chinese boxers. So, and ever since that, there's been a serious rivalry with the West and the East, as far as culture, as far as mind state, mentality, as far as just overall thinking and living, and especially arts, warfare, and of course martial arts. So I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but to me it makes perfect sense, because MMA in the UFC, when I look at it, what it really looks like to me is pankration. What is pankration? Pankration was a mixed martial art that came from Greece. And basically what they did was, the Greeks were very good at taking the most effective things and putting them together. And that's basically what they did, you know. And they took boxing and wrestling and, you know, takedowns and, you know, just things that were you know, that worked for them, you know. But I will tell you that the Chinese boxers, they were no joke. They were no joke. I mean, it took many different nations to defeat these guys. It wasn't just America or just Europe. They had to call in many different nations. So I really believe that this is the real reason why a wrestler or a boxer would dislike Kung Fu. It's not about Kung Fu not being effective. Bruce Lee came here and showed everybody up. Bruce Lee came to the United States and showed everybody who the true martial artist was. Nobody could touch Bruce Lee, you know. So that's why when I put videos up of Chinese boxing, you know, a lot of people hate on it. You know what I'm saying? Because why? Because there is still that you know, that ancient war, you know, existing in the minds of the West. You know, we're better than the Chinese, or the Chinese thinking we're better than the West. You know, and I'm making this video to just tell you that nobody's better than nobody. You know, there's no such thing as a Chinese person better than an American person, or an American person better than a Chinese person. You know, I like MMA, I like boxing, I like wrestling, but I'm a Chinese boxer. That's the stuff that I do. That's what works for me. That's what has saved my life several times. I was just in an altercation where I had to defend myself at a Costco, where some man attacked me, and I defended myself. And what did I use? I used Chinese boxing, you know, and it worked. It just happened so fast. It worked for me, and that's all that I need, you know. So yeah, that's what the Wind Dragon Martial Arts page is about. It's really about opening the minds of people, and I'm definitely not down with just hating people. I don't care if you do Taekwondo. You know, I had a teacher who did Taekwondo. He was amazing. He was also very good at Muay Thai, but my God, his Taekwondo was superb. I remember he kicked me in the hand with a Taekwondo type of snapping kick, and literally my hand, he almost broke my hand. And so, you know, I'm a humble person, you know, and I respect all different martial arts, man. You know, do whatever you want to do. For me, Chinese boxing is what I love. I love Chinese boxing because it's not rigid. It's not based on, you know, how hard I can receive a kick, you know, and or based on rolling on the ground with someone for 10 minutes. Like, it is all about getting the fight over as soon as possible. And for me, like, with the way that I think, that's what I want to do. I don't want to be rolling on the ground with somebody all day. You know, I don't want to be having a slug match with somebody. For me, if you test me, my goal is to eliminate you as fast as possible. If my life is in danger, my goal is to eliminate you as fast as possible. So that's a little brief history on the real reason why I personally believe MMA or Western fighting arts or Pankration, you know, have beef with Chinese Kung Fu, you know. So this is just my personal opinion. You can take it how you want it. Maybe you believe, maybe you don't. This is just the way that I see it. I love history. So that's just how I feel. All right. Thanks for watching my page. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Stay real. Remember, we're all one. Peace.